Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS podcast. My name is the Indy Kid. This is the day after Bowling Green. This is the first installment of the 2021 edition of the day after. Started it last year and going to try to do that all year once again this year. Before we get into that though, guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Last night it was a late night, a late one. Still had a great turnout. A lot of passion, regardless whether people agree, disagree, still a lot of passion. That's the great thing about this fan base is its passion. Had a night's sleep on it. So let's get into it. The day after, Tennessee wins 38-6 over Bowling Green. The bottom line is they're 1-0. I don't think anybody's going to come out feeling like this team's going to be world beaters after game one, and I think that probably includes the coaching staff. But Tennessee has 9 days before they play Pitt. It is only game one. It's not game 12. It's not game 8. They have room to improve. They have lots of room to improve in certain areas. But they did take care of business on a night. It was not their best night. Let's start with the obvious quarterback play. First quarter, couldn't have started much better. 9 out of 11, 95 yards. After that, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot the rest of the way. 2 out of 13 the rest of the way. And I rate 2 out of 12, but anyhow, you get the gist of it. 11 out of 23, 139 yards for Joe Milton, 14 carries, 61 yards. That was a positive, that he'll pull it down, that he can get some yardage. My critique on that, you're 6'5", 243 pounds, put your head down and bulldoze somebody. You don't need to dance around a defensive back. I can understand if it's a 300-some-pound lineman. I can understand if it's a linebacker, it's about your size. If it's a 200-pound, 190-pound defensive back, put your head down and bulldoze them. That's my only complaint with that. A little hesitancy on that. Joe Milton has an arm. Joe Milton had time for the most part last night. Joe Milton did not go through his progressions. Joe Milton threw some good passes that were dropped. And people says, well, you got to take some off of. You really can't when you're throwing across the middle. You can't throw it. So maybe you can take a little bit off of it, but still yet, if you're hitting a guy right between the numbers, you can't ask for much more than that. 2 passes to Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman had his defensive backs burnt. Milton overthrew him. Those 4 passes alone would have made Joe Milton 15 out of 23, around 250, if not more, with multiple touchdowns. But, as is the case, that's not what happened. That would have put him at 65%. He ends up under 50%, around 48% last night. Not going to do it when you go face better teams along the way. Joe Milton has a lot of room to improve. Joe Milton knows he has room to improve. Josh Heupel even stated that he wasn't happy with not going through his progressions, wasn't happy with some decisions in the RPO. There is room to improve that, though. It's only one game. If that doesn't improve moving forward, Josh Heupel's going to have to look at some things. I don't think you have that big reaction after one game. And that question was asked, and Heupel said that nothing warranted even thinking about a change last night. Let it play out, guys. Milton will either get better or they'll have to go to someone else. I think I say it's that simple. I don't know that it is. But if it's at a point he's not improving, the offense can't move the ball, the offense is stagnant, then they'll look at a change. I don't see the point after last night. I think Milton has the tools. He can run. He has an arm. He's got to have better vision. He has to make better decisions. And like those times when Bowling Green's dropping 8, Milton's just got to pull it and get his 5 yards or so. I mean, if it's 4th and 10 or 3rd and 10 or something, maybe that's a different story. But on some of these earlier downs, take off, man. Put your head down and go. You're a big enough quarterback that you could bulldoze somebody. Let's see where he goes against Pitt. Hopefully it's much more positive, much more upbeat regarding the quarterback position next week. Running game, Great night with the running game. I thought 331 net yards on the ground. Tyrone Evans, 16 carries, 124 yards. Jabari Small, 22 for 117. Joe Milton, 14 for 61. Marcus Pierce, 8 for 38. Jalen Wright, 4 for 14. Really surprised that Pierce was the fourth guy in and not D. Beckwith or Whitehead. And I'm really surprised Jalen Wright didn't get more carries also. But Evans and Small, we've said it the entire time. I think this is a really good combo. I think these guys are going to do good things. The offensive line, much improvement. For the most part, they did their job last night. They provided these guys running room. There was a little change when Cooper Mays went out. I thought it affected them negatively. And that's when kind of things changed with that second quarter and how that offense operated. Tennessee did adjust to that, though, after halftime. That was another positive, the halftime adjustments. So you got to like the running game. There were times Joe Milton had a ton of time to throw. Offensive line, I thought, had a good night last night. They weren't perfect, but 331 yards, plenty of time to throw if just the right decisions made. Then that offensive line looks even better than what they were. Defense, I thought the defense had a good night. They held Bowling Green to just over 200 yards. That would not have even been 200 yards if not for the late fumble from Pierce with under a minute to go. And then Bowling Green got, around 23, 24 yards on a play very, very late that put them over 200. Solid night by the defense. Second quarter was rough. Bowling Green slowed it down. Had their best quarter of the night. They were hitting some little plays to the running backs, to the sideline, a little bit across the middle. Tennessee did adjust. Their defensive line, I thought, had an excellent game. They controlled that game. They held Bowling Green on the ground to 32 yards. I like that. Really happy with that. Bowling Green threw for 187. Defensive backs, a little bit to work on. Theo Jackson had a really good night. I was really surprised at, unless there's an injury or something, Juwan Mitchell was non-existent. Really surprised me last night. No tackles on the score sheet. Not sure what's going on there, if they went more of a passing or what, but still, yeah, that's not what I expected. That's not a positive, as I think many expected him to be the top linebacker. I thought Jeremy Banks was active. I thought Aaron Beasley was active. One thing this defense needs to do that I'll critique him on is got to force turnovers. Defensive line did a good job, and I thought that helped out, but still, yeah, got to force some turnovers. There were some opportunities. There were some dropped interceptions. Got to make those plays. Got to make those plays. Overall, solid night for Tennessee. Didn't play their best at all. No, by any means. I'm not trying to, pump you full of sunshine or anything if you're listening to this. There is a lot to work on. But at the same point, they want to know they won 38-6. They took care of business. There's things they're going to go look at on film that they're going to like. There are things they're going to go look at on film and they're not going to like. They know they're going to have to improve at the quarterback position. They know Milton's going to have to be better. And I don't think it was all on him. I don't think the receivers had a great night either. There were drops. I don't know that some routes, but I mean, there were some missed. There were some wide open guys missed. There was people in attendance that said that he definitely had guys open and just did not either look at them or throw it to them. Got to be quicker with that decision making. A lot to improve on there. You got to think, though, those guys have only technically been working together about a month because Milton did not go through spring practice. Not making excuses for him at all. Not where I'm going with it. He's got to be much better. Going to have to be much better next Saturday against Pitt. We'll be live post-game next Saturday after Pitt, 3 o'clock, or around probably 3:30 to 4 o'clock. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, live show. I'm sure we'll talk about the quarterback position. We'll talk about everything else that's going on. Hopefully some recruiting. Not sure who was in attendance last night. I'd be curious to hear that. We can take it how we want to, guys. Yeah, I get it. I'll say the main thing I appreciate, whether you were positive about last night, whether you were negative, there's a passion, man. There's a passion with this fan base. Not everybody's going to see eye on it. That's fine. But I think the one thing I'm happy with is that in years past, this team has played teams similar to Bowling Green and struggled. And while by no means was it a fluid night, by no means was it a great night as far as how they played, they still got it done. And there is a lot of room for improvement. This staff, coaching staff, is full of teachers like we think they are. You're going to see a big improvement with 9 days. And they always say that old adage of teams improve the best from their first game to their second. Thank you guys for tuning in last night. Thank you guys for tuning in to check this out. Leave me a comment on it. Again, thank you for your passion. That's what makes this fan base awesome. I love it. I love it whether we agree, whether we disagree. As long as we do it respectfully, guys, we can all have our opinions and do it respectfully. But enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. College football's here, which is awesome. It's a long weekend for some it's not. So you guys are working through the weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe, guys. Take care. This is the Indy Kid. This is Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.